A very good day I bid to Miss Delilah. My name is Jasmine Aini Shazwani binti Zalani, and I'm going to start the presentation with introduction to the two companies that we have chosen, which are KKB Engineering Berhad and Zecon Berhad. First is KKB Engineering Berhad. It was established in 1962 as a small engineering workshop in Sarawak. It was founded by Chairman and Group Managing Director Datuk Sri Ho Kak Beng. It was registered as a sole proprietorship in 1966 with the progression into steel fabrication works for factory buildings and products. From an engineering base, the company continues to expand and diversify its business into manufacturing activities and oil and gas sector. Its subsidiaries, Harum Bidang Sdn Berhad, KKB Industries Sabah Sdn Berhad, Edisi Optima Sdn Berhad, and Ocean Might Sdn Berhad. The next company is Zecon Berhad. It was established in 1985. Zecon's expertise is in design and build and geotechnical engineering. It is also involved in construction, infrastructure, toll concession, and property development. Now I'm going to explain the first question, starting with sustainable development. What is sustainability? Sustainability is most often defined as meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet theirs. There are three pillars of sustainability, which are environmental pillar, social pillar, and economic pillar. Starting with environmental pillar, companies must be proactive in reducing carbon footprint, waste, and water usage to contain the adverse effect on the environment. Among the ways to increase sustainability is by reducing unnecessary packaging and setting a benchmark on activities like mining and petroleum drilling. Companies must realize that positive environmental impact also result in positive financial impact. For example, by cutting on unnecessary packaging, companies will be able to reduce the cost on packaging, and by complying to the benchmark, they can avoid lawsuit on ecological crime. Second is social pillar. In order to be sustainable, business needs the support of its employees, the community it operates in, as well as consumers globally. For employees, businesses need to ensure that they are paid the livable wage, provided with the necessary holidays and benefits, and that they are satisfied with the workplace environment. For the communities, businesses need to contribute by offering scholarships or setting up funds for them to build trust and loyalty. On the global level, businesses need to ensure that their materials are ethically sourced, laborers are fairly paid, and to show their support on current issues like the Me Too movement. The last pillar is economic pillar. A sustainable business is a profitable one. However, profit cannot be more prioritized than the other two pillars. Activities that fit under the economic pillar include compliance, proper governance, and risk management. This pillar is also known as good corporate governance. The economic pillar provides a balance to the drastic steps that firms are often forced to pursue, such as quitting fossil fuels or chemical fertilizers immediately rather than gradually. Next is the Sustainable Development Goals composed by United Nations Development Programme. There are 17 altogether, which are no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, affordable and clean energy, decent work and economic growth, industry, innovation and infrastructure, reduce inequalities, sustainable cities and communities, responsible on consumption and production, climate action, life below water, life on land, peace, justice, and strong institutions, and lastly, partnership for the goals. Moving on with environmental management accounting, starting with the definition. According to International Federation of Accountants, 1998, environmental management accounting is defined as the management of environmental and economic performance through the development and implementation of appropriate environment-related accounting systems and practices. While this may include reporting and auditing in some companies, environmental management accounting typically involves life cycle costing, full cost costing, benefits assessment, and strategic planning for the environmental management. Environmental management accounting is a subset of the management accounts that focuses on things such as the cost of energy and water and the disposal of waste and effluent. It helps determine things like the cost versus benefits of buying from environmentally conscious suppliers or the impact on the company's public image if environmental standards are not followed. The multidimensional framework of environmental management accounting, developed by Burrit et al., recognizes the differences between 5 dimensions, which are internal versus external, physical versus monetary classifications, past and future timeframes, short and long terms, and impromptu versus routine information gathering in the proposed framework for the application of environmental management accounting. Next is environmental costs and benefits. In 1998, the US Environmental Protection Agency stated that the concept of environmental cost was determined by how a company utilized the data, such as in capital planning or product design. They distinguish 4 different types of costs. Conventional costs are those raw material and energy costs that have environmental relevance. Potentially hidden costs are those which are captured by accounting systems but then lose their identity in overheads. Contingent costs may be incurred at a future date. For example, costs for cleaning up. They are also referred to as contingent liabilities. Image and relationship costs are intangible in nature and include, for example, the cost of producing environmental report. On the other hand, United Nations Division for Sustainable Development define environmental costs as costs incurred to protect the environment, like measures taken to prevent pollution, and cost of wasted material, capital, and labor, like inefficiencies in the production process.
Hello and a very good day to Ms. Delilah. I am Nur Karunisa binti Muhammad Ismail and I will continue the presentation that is identifying environmental costs. We can find the information that is needed in preparing environmental management accounts in the general ledger. Environmental costs may be hard to identify as they usually fall under general overhead category. This leads to company facing difficulty to identify and cut the environmental costs. However, it is important for businesses to identify them that resources are scarce and it will help them to make business decisions. A pharmaceutical business, for example, may be deciding whether or not to continue to produce one of its products. To factor environmental factors into its decision, it must know how many products are input into the process compared to how many are outputs, how much waste is generated during the process, how much labor and fuel is used in the manufacturing of the drug, how much packaging the drug uses and what percentage of that is recyclable. An appropriate decision can be made regarding the environmental consequences to continue manufacturing the products by identifying and allocating these costs to the product. Hello and a very good day to Ms. Delilah. I am Nur Karunisa binti Muhammad Ismail and I will continue the presentation that is identifying environmental costs. We can find the information that is needed in preparing environmental management accounts in the general ledger. Environmental costs may be hard to identify as they usually fall under general overhead category. This leads to company facing difficulty to identify and cut the environmental costs. However, it is important for businesses to identify them that resources are scarce and it will help them to make business decisions. A pharmaceutical business, for example, may be deciding whether or not to continue to produce one of its products. To factor environmental factors into its decision, it must know how many products are input into the process compared to how many are outputs, how much waste is generated during the process, how much labor and fuel is used in the manufacturing of the drug, how much packaging the drug uses and what percentage of that is recyclable. An appropriate decision can be made regarding the environmental consequences to continue manufacturing the products by identifying and allocating these costs to the product. Next is controlling environmental costs. It can be controlled only after it has been defined, identified, and allocated. Environmental costs differ significantly from business to business, therefore there is no one solution fits all in order to control them. Consider an organization whose main environmental cost is transport and travel. The cost can be reduced by investing in more fuel-efficient vehicles. Not only saving the environmental costs, but it is also critical in combating climate change, as well as improve urban air quality by reducing traditional emissions like ash methane and black carbon, which helps to fulfill climate change mitigation targets. Adoption of more fuel-efficient automobile along with cleaner fuels and stricter emission limits will greatly increase our capacity to meet climate change mitigation goals. Hence, the environmental management accounting can help to identify such savings in terms of business travel and transport of the goods and materials. Environmental benefits can be defined as avoidance of compliance costs or minimizations of environmental consequences. So, what are the environmental benefits? One of them is save costs. This can be done by applying the 3R, which is reduce, reuse, and recycle. It is better for companies to purchase products without toxics, energy efficient, and to be easily recycled. Other than that is better product pricing and optimal use of resources. Businesses will get a better return of investment if they use the most of their resources. The other benefits are cleaner and ethical production as well as improve the reputation of the company. Environmental impact can be defined as any environmental change, whether positive or negative, caused by any entity's activities, products, or services. When a new business is formed, specifically if the business has a physical establishment, the heating and cooling systems of their building release greenhouse gas emissions into the atmosphere while consuming massive amounts of electricity. Many buildings are not built with energy-saving systems or technology to reduce the amount of heat and air conditioning they use. Not only that, business establishments consume a lot of electricity to power things like lighting, air conditioning, computers, printers, and photocopiers. For example, the rise of 24 hours businesses, especially convenience stores like 7-Eleven, operate with electricity for a long period of time. They also generate a lot of other waste, including equipment, especially computers, because businesses upgrade their equipment on a regular basis to stay competitive. Electronics like photocopiers and computers, which are not biodegradable, will end up in landfill and may leach harmful chemicals into the ground and water. Next, I will explain the social impact of business organization. Social impact is the overall impact of a particular activity on a community and the welfare of individuals and families. Businesses affect on people's life, whether they are employees, consumers, suppliers, investors, or members of society as a whole. Different businesses has varying social impacts to one another. Some are more beneficial than the other, and some are more adverse. One of the horrible impact of business organizations is unethical labor. Big clothing brands like H&M and Gap has been known about the unfavorable condition of their sweatshop, where workers are paid mere wages. Not only that, it was also reported that the workers also experience abuse and harassment. Another adverse impact is the use of child labor, especially in the third world countries. Giant companies that set up their manufacturing factory in third world countries take advantage of people's desperation and lenient laws to reduce their costs and increase their own profits. On the other hand, one positive impact of business organization is it provides job opportunities to the community. When a business is set up, job vacancies open up for the nearby community to utilize. This will provide them with the money they need to live as well as working skills.
I am the next presenter. I am Noatira Shmeta binti Muhammad Zecon. I will discuss question C, whereby the question is, referring the two companies chosen, describe the current initiative undertaken by each organization with respect to social and environment aspect. At first, we will discuss about the current initiative undertaken by KKB's group in social aspect. During the year, they perform human charitable activities. As we know, in 2020, COVID-19 pandemic has made a lot of people suffer with their financial. And to help the Sarawak government to control the spread of COVID-19, they have made donation to Sarawak State Disaster Management Committee. Also, they continuously organize blood donation campaign for Sarawak General Hospital. During the year, they also make a donation and contribution to education institution, charity association, and other way to local communities' welfare. Next is give job creation and offer practical on job with the community. During the year, the expansion of KKB's group give a lot of job to the community, and their priority is to the local community. Also, they offer a practical on job with the students who are from local universities, college, and institution. And those students who have OJT with KKB's group could be recruited as the employee after they finish their study. Yeah, the social aspect include diversity in the balance of employee and board appointment. KKB group hiring the employee and board based on their capability and suitability, whereby there is no discrimination such as religion, belief, age, gender, creed, marital status, family status, or any disability in hiring policies. In fact, there are 2 out of 9 of board of director is a female, which showing that KKB group has hiring and promote the employee or board according their skill and experience without discrimination of gender. Next, KKB group provide employee welfare bonus such as minimum wages order, employee provident fund, SOCSO, and recruit only those 18 and above. They also have other employee welfare bonus such as hospitality. In fact, during the current year, they have employee benefit expenses amounted 56,279,022 ringgit, which is lower than 2019 employee benefit expenses, which is amounted 65,207,217 ringgit. Lastly, the current initiative undertaken by KKB Group in social aspect is employee safety awareness and COVID-19 prevention. During the year, they have conducted campaign and training for workers on the safety in workplace and also give them insurance cover. They also establish standard operation procedure for both office and their site operation. Lastly, they also make COVID-19 rapid tests for their workers, which also include their foreign workers. Next, we will proceed with the current initiative undertaken by KKB Group in environmental aspect. First, reuse the waste. The hydraulic oil will be reused as a lubrication for heavy-duty machineries and can be used as coat of release agent. And then bituminous enamel will be used for coat the cookie-based products that are milk pipes and special pipes, and the balance of it will be remelted and used for coating for the next batch pipe. Next is energy and paper saving. The current initiative undertaken is practicing using more natural light, such as install transparent roofing, implement effective production scheduling, use solar and wind powered off factory street, and also remind the employee to switch off the light and air conditioner in office if they are not using it. Also, they increase the use of soft copy rather than hard copy. And then if there is ink formulator, the worker need to use the recycled paper to print it out. Next is install the technology to reduce pollution. The cement wastewater system has been installed to collect the water cement and allocate in one place so it will be dry and can be disposed as dry soil in order to overcome the water pollution. And then there is new type of decanter has been introduced whereby it can reduce the emission of smoke from the bitumen decanter. Next is dispose waste according to rules and regulation. The current initiative take is that waste that come from office it will be disposed or be recycled via waste management company. It is to ensure that the waste did not affect the environment. They also implement effective processes in the production, planning, control, and monitoring process. They also use cradle-to-grave concept and compliant to Environment Quality Act and regulation, which waste disposed is approved by DOE. Next is the current initiative undertaken by Zecon in social aspect. First, emphasize whistleblowing, case concerned with the ethical business. The board conduct code of ethics for director in board chapter and the code of ethics for the group employees provided in the employee handbook. Few principles include integrity, accountability, conflict of interest, and corruption. They have conduct whistleblowing policy and then whistleblowing mechanism. And in 2019, they declared not receiving any whistleblowing case concerned with ethical business. But in 2020, there is no declaration statement of whether they are receiving or not the whistleblowing case concerned with the ethical business. Next is the current initiative in social aspect include COVID-19 procedure, whereby they begins to use the standard operating procedure SOP to ensure the quality management system. There is the group construction and property division to check all each stage of the construction sites to ensure that all each stage is done accordance with the procedure comply. Apart from that is safety of employee, whereby Zecon has established a group level of environmental, health and safety policy. In each group project, it will be monitored by representative of SHC who will work together with on-site project manager in addressing the health and safety concern in worksite. In past year and the current year, there is no injury cases or fatalities or any fine authorities in safety of workers in worksite. Lastly, they are taking on projects that involve welfare of facilities for community. Zecon has allowed the group to construct any welfare of facilities such as hospital, school, highway, and water treatment facilities with to increase the standard of community in Sarawak as well in Malaysia. They has delivered HPKK project and continue working construction of the Penborno Highway in Sarawak in accordance with the group's sustainability guidelines. They also entered a memorandum of understanding with Dewan Bandaraya Kuching Utara (DBKU) to collaborate on a community project to beautify the runabout located along protocol roads in DBKU's area. That's all from me. I will pass it for the next presenter.
Good afternoon to Ms. Delilah. My name is Nushamira binti Abdullah and I will continue to present the current initiatives undertaken by the Zecon Berhad on the environmental aspect. First, Zecon Group recycle or dispose the wastage. Any wastage generated from project site will be recycled for use, and the material that cannot be disposed of will be managed to be disposed according on what Environmental Quality Schedule Weights Regulations 2005. Any different kind of waste will be disposed properly via licensed contractor. Besides, Zecon Group minimize water and air pollution. They use biochemical oxygen demand to monitor the water quality, and to increase the water quality test, they also perform testing periodically from independent external party. As for air pollution, there is phases of construction, such as demolition, hacking, excavation, vehicle movement, housekeeping, and carpentry work to minimize the ambient dust. The group also minimized the dengue outbreak. The dengue outbreak carries the death and health of the worker, as well as the community that live near the construction site. And as the construction sites will be the risk of water retention spots, Zecon Berhad undertake necessary effort to ensure that the water retention been reduced or cleared at the project sites. For current year 2020, they also did not mention there is any fine imposed on environmental matter, which in 2019 they have done state that there is no fine imposed by the authorities. On the energy saving, the group proposed solar photovoltaic installation at HPKK project that generates electricity from 1,388 kWp solar system that has been certified by Sustainable Energy Development Authority, Malaysia, and Institute for Sustainable Power, International. Their current initiative is to save the environmental from renewable energy, which they can save the energy while doing the project.
Hello and a very good day to Miss Delilah. I will continue this presentation with question D. First of all, my name is Non Maliatu Zahira binti Mulyadi. In Bursa Malaysia Guidelines has stated the sustainability development goals which should be seen as the roadmap for businesses to assess and manage their economic, environment and social risks while contributing to improve their own reputation, image and strategic position in the market. Why should business care on this sustainability development? Because it affects, first, cost of inaction, environmental and social burden. Second, regulatory risk. The sustainability development goals reflect future policy direction at the international, national and regional levels. Third, market disruption. Forward-thinking businesses are forging ahead with disruptive new business model which threaten to radically reshape market. And lastly, reduce license to operate. The businesses that fail to align their strategy with the SDGs will most likely to face a lower level of approval. First, I will explain on the environmental sustainability for both companies, which are Zecon Berhad and KKB Engineering Berhad. Environmental sustainability is an organization impact on living and non-living natural system, including land, air, water, and ecosystem. This may include the organization usage of energy and water discharge of emission or loss of biodiversity. In terms of technology building and environment aspect, Zecon Berhad has proposed solar photovoltaic installation at Hospital Pakar Kanak-Kanak project, which will generate electricity from 1,388 kilowatt solar system, which is certified by Sustainable Energy Development Authority Malaysia and also Institute for Sustainable Power International. While some of technology and environment aspect for KKB Engineering Berhad are spent hydraulic oil is being reused at lubricant for heavy duty machineries such as shovel trucks and forklifts. Moreover, in order to minimize the cost for electricity for lighting, the roof has been partially installed with transparent roofing to introduce more natural light into the factory floor. Next criteria under environmental aspect are waste and effluent management. In Zecon Berhad, all waste generated from project sites are either recycled for use or transported to designated disposal sites timely and efficiently to minimize disruption to the daily life of the community. For KKB Engineering Berhad, firstly, the group engaged proper waste management company to dispose its waste to properly dispose and recycle in a safe, ethical and responsible manner. Second, implementing an effective production shift scheduling, which in turn reduce unnecessary energy consumption and pollution. Third, reducing production wastage throughout the operations by implementing an effective production planning, control and monitoring process. Lastly, monitoring and ensuring that their fuel burning system discharge comply with the environmental regulation. In conclusion, based on two criteria under environmental sustainability aspect, KKB Engineering is better than Zecon Berhad as the group declare a lot of activities in their sustainability statement in the latest report. The group also exercise many activities that mitigate adverse impact on its operation. Next, I will explain on the social sustainability for both companies. Social sustainability is the impact of an organization has on the social system within which it operates. This may include the organization relationship with communities, employees, and consumers. On 9 March 2020, Zecon entered into a Memorandum of Understanding with DBKU in collaborating on a community project to beautify the roundabout located along Protocol Roads in DBKU's area. Under MOU, Zecon is responsible to design, plan, and construct the beautification works. That is all from me. I will pass this presentation to the next presenter, Nur Shamira.
The community aspect done by KKB Engineering Berhad is they made a donation to Sarawak State Disaster Management Committee in helping the Sarawak government curb the spread of COVID-19 pandemic. Continuous blood donation campaign for the blood bank is a must to save lives. In the beginning year of 2020, KKB organized another blood donation campaign for the Sarawak General Hospital. The blood donation campaign was held on 7 January 2020. Donations and contributions were also given to education institutions, charity associations, and others in a way to support their local committees, welfare activities to improve the standard of living. Apart from that, KKB Group continues to offer practical on-job training (OJT) to students from local colleges, universities, and institutions. This program is to expose the students on the know-how and know-skills of working environment, especially in steel fabrication, LP gas manufacturing, pipes and pipe special manufacturing, and others. The business ethics done by Zecon Berhad is the group has a whistleblowing policy and whistleblowing mechanism that enables the public as well as the group's employees to raise any concerns on unethical, unlawful and improper behavior and conduct. Besides, the group will also deliver #BKK project on schedule before the end of the year, and the Pan Borneo Highway will continue to work towards scheduled completion depending on the status of extension time application. These key projects have been operating in accordance with the group's sustainability guidelines, and there has been no non-compliance being reported from the RMC. KKB Group is mindful in diverse workforces to outperform and boost profitability, culture, and public perceptions. Gender equality promotes balanced participation of female and male employees in their business, and the company hopes this initiative will discourage gender discrimination and abuse, mental or physical, against the fairer sex. As for occupational health and safety, Zecon Berhad has established a group-level environmental health and safety policy in accordance with ISO 14001 and OHSAS 18001, which guides the principle for all health and safety practices of the group's operations, with an added focus on project sites. The group takes compliance with relevant law, rules, and regulation relating to environmental and social matters seriously and has incorporated key compliance requirements in the group's EHS policy. In acknowledging the grave severity and adverse impact on the well-being and health of their employees that may be caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, KKB Engineering Berhad had since March 2020 initiated and implemented recommendations issued by Majlis Keselamatan Negara (MKN) and Sarawak Disaster Management Committee (SDMC) according to the requirements issued at various phases of the movement control. There are a few measures undertaken by Zecon Group to manage the occupational safety and health, which includes the performance of hazard identification, risk assessment and risk control, and appropriate safety plans where necessary. Besides, Zecon also has a provision of appropriate personal protective equipment to employees and their workers. Zoning practices such as green zone and red zone that manage or prohibits public access at construction sites which are close to the public are also provided by the Zecon Berhad. Furthermore, traffic management plans are devised by Zecon Group for the construction sites within the proximity of traffic in order to ensure the safety of the public and the construction sites. The establishment of emergency response team and periodic safety training is also provided by Zecon to employees and workers to instill awareness on the workplace safety. As for the KKB Engineering Berhad, the management practiced the following routine activities among the employees and the workers. First, KKB Engineering Berhad held a campaign on internal safety, health, and environmental promotion at the company level. Besides, they are also attending in-house and external training on any new rules and regulation for HSE by relevant authority. Furthermore, the person in charge will be responsible for safety work and safety audit during their tour in the plant. KKB Engineering Berhad also established ERP team and have a fire drill exercise to build awareness on fire among the employees. They also have insurance cover for employees, worker factories, building and etc. to prevent and minimize risk of losses because of sudden disaster such as floods and fire. In conclusion, KKB Engineering Berhad is doing great in order to ensure their sustainability as compared to Zecon Berhad. The company have done a lot of activities that give positive impact to economic, environment and society, EES, and the company also takes a holistic approach in its management. That's all from us. Thank you.